Hey, welcome back to channel. Today we are going to rebuild the top of this little mini bike. It's been sitting around for a lot of years and we haven't got it running yet, so I ordered a top end kit from some Australian company for half the price of a local company, and I got some help today. Paige is going to help us out. Say hi. Paige is going to help us out. We're going to rip the motor out, then we're going to pull the top end apart, and we'll see where we get to. Okay, so what we were hoping to do was maybe do this in the bike, but as you can see, we have a clearance issue here between the frame and these head bolts right there. So that's not going to lift off of there. We're not going to get that head off unless we pull those bolts out, which I'm not even going to attempt because we'll risk ruining those bolts. So we're going to pull this out of this. So in order to do that, we need to undo this and this and this. And we have to get rid of this. We have to get rid of this because that's going to be in the way. And over here, we have to undo this. And we'll get rid of this. And this is going to be in our way. And that bolt there goes through the engine as well. So we'll undo all of that and get this motor right out. There we go, there's the motor out. Now we can pull the top off, pull the cylinder head off, pull the cylinder off, that inside there. Okay, so we measured this new piston, and we measured the bore using transfer method telescoping gauges, 1 to 2 inch micrometer, referred to the manual, and we have 3 thou clearance between our new piston and our original cylinder. Service limit is 4 thou according to the manual, so we're okay to do this. We ran the hone through this a little bit. It's nice and smooth. There's no major scarring. There is some staining from rust in there, just from this machine sitting for most of its life. You can see right there, but it shouldn't affect the compression. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this new piston in. do much explaining on that video. Pretty straightforward, really. The only thing is that chain, that timing chain, will drop down inside, so that's a little bit of a struggle. We measured out the piston. We had 3 thou clearance between the piston and the cylinder. Checked it in a few different spots. Top, middle, bottom, 90 degrees to each other, and it was pretty consistent 3 thou. This engine doesn't have a lot of hours on it. It just it's seized up from sitting around. So the engine filled full of water or something. Condensation probably. On the when we're setting up the timing, you really only have 2 options. The cams can only go on one of 2 ways, but if you look here, there's the T for top dead center. Well, that lines up with this little cast arrow on the casing. See there. So you line those up, that gives you top dead center. Valve lobes both facing down, and then line your bolt holes up, and that's really it for timing on these things. Really super straightforward. And then torque spec. You saw me torque the cam retainer slash cylinder stud slash head bolts all in one. They're torqued to 14 foot-pounds. Then this here random bolt over here is 9 foot-pounds, 9 foot-pounds, 9 foot-pounds. Basically all your 10 mil fasteners are 9 foot-pounds. So we're gonna throw this back in the bike off camera, and we'll go from there.